Have it here now, Oklahoma Senator James Lankford. Senator, welcome. Great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
I think a lot of people look at this, general legislative process and say, what's going on? I mean, how is it that once again the White House's biggest problem are senators in their own party who won't get on board?
It's not a matter of just getting on board. It's resolving all the final issues and questions. There have been 70 hearings over the past couple of years just in the Senate on this issue of tax reform. Each one of those is built on it. As now it gets narrower and narrower and narrower to the final solution, everyone has one last statement to try to be able to fix, to be able to resolve it. Everyone's looking at a very complicated bill and saying, okay, what's it going to take to be able to get to yes? I don't hear anyone in our conference saying they don't want to do it. Everyone wants to be able to do real, meaningful tax reform. But everybody has a little different opinion, and we're trying to be able to work that out all the way to the bitter end.
But you're a yes, right?
I am still working on some final statements. I absolutely want to be able to get to yes. I'm trying to work on some areas of backstop. It's kind of behind the scenes on it, but I can't imagine not supporting this. But we're trying to work out all the final details in the end.
Let's put up the people on the board that are, not quite at yes, as you say. You've got Steve Daines of Montana. You've got Ron Johnson. You've got Lisa Murkowski, Senator Collins, Senator McCain, Senator Corker. You're on that list. Flake is also on that list. Jeff Flake, Senator Jeff Flake. So what do you think is when you please some people, you sort of knock some other people off the other end of the raft. So what do you think is sort of the main issue that needs to be wired out here?
Yeah, and that's the good news on this. There's not a one big main issue to say everyone's walking away because of this issue. It's everyone's trying to look at different aspects of it. Myself, Bob Corker, for instance, are looking at the backstop issue to say if the revenue doesn't come in the way that we plan, what is the backstop to be able to help protect taxpayers in the future and our debt and deficit issue. Ron Johnson and Steve Daines are looking at it saying for the small businesses, how are they being handled? Is this fair compared to the corporations? Is there a way to be able to fix that? Others are looking at other spots. All those things aren't in competition with each other. They're all part of trying to get it right at the end. So again, everyone's trying to get to the final solution to be able to solve this, but there are a lot of details in a bill this large and this complex.
What about the individual mandate? What's the likelihood that stays in the bill?
I would certainly hope the individual mandate stays in the bill. I think it will stay there.
Repealing it, I should say.
I do think taking it out, that's correct, of the individual mandate is an important part of this. It's not only an important financial part for the taxpayer, but it's extremely important for those folks that are in the middle class. In Oklahoma, 81% of the people that pay the individual mandate fine make $50,000 or less. These are individuals that can't afford the insurance anymore, and they certainly can't afford a new fine from the IRS. So we're trying to be able to help those folks in the middle class not have that additional fine. This doesn't take away the subsidies. I've had folks say those individuals will lose their subsidies. That's not true. Those subsidies still remain exactly as they are, but we take away the fine punishing those in the middle class that can't afford the extra insurance made exactly the Washington, D.C. way, and they want to be able to buy insurance they can afford rather than what Washington, D.C. is compelling them to buy.
Yeah. You just put out the annual waste report, and you claim that there's $437 billion in wasteful, inefficient spending. So where are the cuts? I mean, this tax plan is sort of paid for on the backs of different people, rather than asking the government, who has all of our tax dollars anyway, to figure out ways that they can cut spending to pay for it.
So there's two things that have to happen. We have to be able to reduce spending. We have to be able to deal with government efficiencies, and we've got to be able to fix tax policy. You're right. This doesn't deal with all the spending aspects. This deals with just the tax policy. But there's a lot of bills that need to be done to be able to deal with the spending. Those come not just in one big bill, but in a lot of small bills. We identified wasteful programs, wasteful grants. We identified areas where the federal government is not doing its job. We call it 100 ways the federal government has dropped the ball. So this federal fumble guide that we put out on our website, and anyone can look at it for free. It's at lankford.senate.gov, and you can get a chance to take a look at it. It's what we talked about over Thanksgiving, quite frankly, at our table, was to be able to walk through what is out there and what have we really seen, and how can we actually fix this. We hope to be able to deal with not only the spending issue, but also the tax issue as well. But this week is just the tax issue. In the days ahead, spending.
All right. Senator Lankford, thank you very much. It's always good to see you.
Good to see you as well.